Jake Morrison floated in the zero-gravity chamber, checking his weapon for the third time. The Terran Defense Academy's training facility hummed quietly around him, its metal walls reflecting the soft blue lights that indicated combat simulation. Mode. He looked at his squad members floating nearby, each one preparing for what they thought would be just another exercise. "All right, team, listen up," Jake said into his helmet gum. "This is our final test before graduation. Command wants to see if we learned anything in 4 years." Lisa Rodriguez adjusted her tactical scanner and grinned. "Come on, Jake. We could do this stuff in our sleep by now. How hard can fake aliens be?" Danny Brooks hefted his heavy plasma cannon with one hand, the weapon that would normally require a mount for most species. "I hope they give us a real challenge this time." Last simulation was over in 20 minutes. Amy Carter finished loading her medical kit with supplies that could keep someone alive even after losing half their blood. "Just try not to get yourselves blown up too badly. I want to graduate without having to patch you idiots back together. Ryan." Parker had 3 different computer interfaces open, already starting to probe the enemy networks before the exercise even began. "Their security looks pretty standard. I should be able to hack their communications in the first few minutes." Jake nodded and activated his squad channel. "Remember, this is supposed to test everything we learned. They might throw some new tricks at us." In the control room above, Commander Helen Davis watched the 5 cadets prepare. She had been training human soldiers for 15 years, and these 5 were among the best she had ever seen. What made her proud also made her slightly worried. These kids had no idea how different they were from the rest of the galaxy. "Simulation begins in 60 seconds, came the announcement over the speakers. The cadets moved into position around the mock space station they were supposed to defend. It was a standard scenario. Enemy forces would attack in waves, trying to capture strategic points while the defenders held them off. The Academy used this exercise to test teamwork, tactics, and decision-making under pressure. What the cadets did not know was that this simulation was being broadcast live across 12 star systems. The Galactic Federation had requested a demonstration of human military training, curious about the species that had recently joined their alliance. Alien military observers from dozens of different civilizations were watching, expecting to see something similar to their own peaceful conflict resolution exercises. "Simulation starts now," Commander Davis announced. The first wave of enemy ships appeared on the sensors. To the cadets, they looked like the standard AI opponents they had been fighting for years. The ships moved in neat formations, following predictable attack patterns. 12 enemy vessels incoming from Sector 7, Lisa reported, her voice calm and professional. "Standard attack formation." Jake studied the tactical display. "Danny, can you take out their lead ship?" "Already locked." "On," Danny replied. He fired his plasma cannon without hesitation, sending a blast that would have vaporized any real ship instantly. The simulated enemy vessel exploded in a burst of light dot in the alien observation posts scattered across the galaxy. Military commanders watched in shock. The human had destroyed the lead vessel without any attempt at communication or warning. Among species that typically spent hours in pre-battle negotiations, this immediate use of lethal force was terrifying. "Ryan, get into their communications," Jake ordered. "I want to know what they are planning." Ryan's fingers flew over his controls. Within 30 seconds, he had broken through security systems that would have taken most alien hackers hours to crack. "I am in their network. They are planning a coordinated strike on the station's power core." The alien observers saw a human casually penetrating military-grade security as if it were a simple door lock. Several species immediately began calculating how quickly humans could break into their own defense networks. "Amy, set up a medical station near the power core," Jake continued. "If they hit us there, we are going to have casualties." Amy moved quickly through the station's corridors, her medical equipment ready to handle injuries that would kill members of most other species. She carried supplies for everything from radiation poisoning to vacuum exposure, treating such dangers as routine workplace hazards. The alien watchers saw a human medic preparing for casualty levels that their own militaries would consider catastrophic. Losses. The idea that these soldiers expected to continue fighting after sustaining such damage was beyond their understanding. Second wave incoming, Lisa announced. 20 ships this time, coming from multiple directions. Jake smiled. Good. They are getting serious. Lisa, mark target priorities. Danny, focus on their heavy hitters. Ryan, see if you can turn their own weapons against them. The human squad moved with coordination that came from years of training in Earth's harsh conditions. They had practiced these maneuvers in environments that would kill most aliens within minutes. To them, this zero-gravity combat was almost relaxing compared to their usual training exercises. Danny opened fire with sustained bursts, each shot capable of destroying multiple enemy vessels. Lisa calculated firing solutions that maximized damage while minimizing ammunition use. Ryan began turning enemy ships against each other by taking control of their weapon systems. The alien observers watched humans use tactics that their own species would only employ in the most desperate final battles. What seemed like normal training to the cadets looked like preparation for total war to civilizations that had never experienced such aggressive military doctrine. Enemy ships are retreating, Lisa reported after 10 minutes of combat. Jake frowned. That is weird. Usually they keep attacking until we destroy them all. What Jake did not know was that several of the alien observers had begun sending emergency communications to their home worlds. Some were requesting immediate military reinforcements. Others were drafting surrender documents. A few were simply evacuating their border systems entirely. Maybe it is part of the test, Danny suggested. Command might want to see how we handle a retreating enemy. Jake nodded. All right, we pursue and finish them off. Standard operating procedure. The decision to chase down fleeing enemies caused panic among the alien watchers. Most civilizations allowed defeated opponents to withdraw safely. The idea of pursuing and destroying retreating forces was considered barbaric by galactic standards. Commander Davis watched her cadets perform exactly as she had trained them. They were following standard human military doctrine, doing everything right according to Earth's way of warfare. She had no idea that their routine exercise was being interpreted as a demonstration of humanity's terrifying military capabilities. The exercise continued, with the cadets growing more relaxed as they settled into familiar patterns. To them, this was just another day of training, no different from hundreds of previous simulations. Across the galaxy, alien military leaders were coming to a very different conclusion about what they were witnessing. The third wave of enemy ships appeared larger than before. Jake counted at least 40 vessels spreading out in what looked like a desperate formation. Something felt different about this attack, but he could not quite figure out what it was. They are moving weird, Lisa said, studying her tactical display. Look at these flight patterns. They keep breaking formation and reforming. Danny lined up his next shot and paused. Yeah, and they are not attacking our weak points. They are hitting random targets like they are panicking. Ryan frowned at his computer screens. Guys, I am picking up some strange communications from the enemy fleet. Listen to this. He patched the intercepted transmissions through their helmet speakers. The voices sounded frantic, almost desperate. Even though the words were in an alien language, the tone was clear, pure terror. That is really good voice acting, Amy commented. Command must have upgraded their AI programs. Jake nodded. They'd probably want to make the final exam more realistic. Let's show them what we can do. He opened his squad channel. All units, we are going to demonstrate combined assault tactics. Lisa, mark their command ship. Danny, prepare for sustained bombardment. Ryan, jam their communications. Amy, get ready for possible boarding action casualties. The cadets moved into their practiced formation. This was a maneuver they had trained for dozens of times, a coordinated attack designed to break enemy morale, while maintaining their own combat effectiveness. In the observation posts across the galaxy, alien military commanders watched in growing horror. The humans were about to demonstrate what they called combined assault tactics. Most alien species had never seen anything like it. Lisa's targeting system locked onto the largest enemy vessel. Command ship identified. Weak points marked. Firing. Solution calculated. Danny's plasma cannon charged to full power. Ready for sustained bombardment. I can keep firing for 15 minutes straight. Ryan's fingers danced across his controls, jamming their communications now. They will not be able to coordinate their defense. Amy checked her equipment one more time. Medical station ready. I can handle up to 20 casualties with severe injuries. Jake gave the order. Execute assault pattern Alpha. The human squad attacked with coordination that came from years of training together. Danny's plasma cannon sent continuous bursts of energy that would have destroyed entire space stations. Lisa calculated each shot to maximize damage while conserving ammunition. Ryan shut down enemy communications and began taking control of their weapon systems. To the cadets, this was just another exercise. They had done this same maneuver in training simulations, live fire exercises, and combat scenarios that would have traumatized most alien species. It was as routine as breathing. The alien observers saw something completely different. They watched humans execute military tactics that their own species reserved for extinction-level threats. The coordination was perfect, the firepower overwhelming, and the casual efficiency absolutely terrifying. Enemy formation is collapsing, Lisa reported. They are sending some kind of signal. Ryan intercepted the transmission and translated it through his computer. It looks like a surrender request. Pretty detailed one, too. Jake shook his head. That is part of the test. They want to see if we fall for fake surrender attempts. Remember what Commander Davis taught us about deception tactics. The cadets continued their attack, treating the surrender attempt as another training scenario. They had been taught that enemies often tried to trick defenders with false surrenders, so they followed standard procedure and ignored the communications. Across the galaxy, alien fleets watched human forces reject a formal surrender and continue attacking. To species that always accepted the first offer of surrender, this was beyond comprehension. The humans seemed determined to achieve total victory regardless of enemy attempts to end the conflict peacefully. Fourth wave incoming, Lisa announced. But they are not attacking. They are just sitting there. Danny kept his weapon trained on the new arrivals. Maybe they are waiting for us to make the first move. Ryan studied the enemy communications. They are sending a lot of transmissions. All of them sound like requests for ceasefire. Amy moved closer to the command center. This is getting really strange, even for a training exercise. Jake made a decision that seemed perfectly reasonable to him. If they want to surrender, they need to follow proper procedure. Until then, we treat them as hostile. Prepare for engagement. The cadets moved into attack formation again. This was exactly what their training had taught them. Never trust an enemy until they followed correct surrender protocols, and always be ready to fight. The alien watchers saw humans preparing to attack forces that were clearly trying to surrender. The idea that the humans had specific procedures that surrendering enemies must follow was shocking enough. The fact that they would attack anyway if those procedures were not followed exactly was terrifying. They are powering down their weapons, Lisa observed. All of them. Danny laughed. Nice try. Classic fake surrender. They power down their main weapons, but keep the backup systems ready. Ryan continued monitoring their communications. They are broadcasting on all frequencies now. Same message over and over. Amy loaded extra medical supplies. Get ready. When they spring their trap, it is going to be a big one. The cadets prepared for what they assumed would be the climax of their training exercise. They expected the enemy to launch a surprise attack, testing their ability to handle deception and betrayal. Instead, more enemy ships began appearing. Dozens of them, all broadcasting the same surrender signals. They arranged themselves in formations that clearly indicated they were not preparing to fight. This is the weirdest exercise ever, Danny muttered. Jake studied the tactical display. Maybe Command wants to test our judgment. Do we accept surrender, or do we finish them off? The question seemed routine to him. Human military doctrine covered both options depending on the strategic situation. Sometimes accepting surrender was the best choice. Sometimes it was not. The alien observers heard a human commander casually discussing whether to accept surrender or commit what they considered genocide. The fact that both options were presented as equally valid tactical choices sent waves of panic through every alien fleet watching the demonstration. Let's try something different, Jake decided. Ryan, send them our surrender terms. Let's see. If they accept? Ryan transmitted standard human surrender conditions: immediate disarmament, submission to inspection, and agreement to follow all orders from the occupying force. The alien fleets across the galaxy received surrender terms that were harsher than anything they had ever seen. Most species negotiated mutual ceasefires or peaceful withdrawals. The human terms sounded like preparation for total conquest. They are accepting, Ryan reported with surprise. All of them. Every single ship. Jake frowned. That is way too easy. Command must be setting up something big. The cadets had no idea that their training exercise had just convinced multiple alien civilizations to begin drafting actual surrender documents to send to Earth. The simulation ended with a loud buzzer that echoed through the training facility. Jake and his squad floated in the zero-gravity chamber, looking at each other with confusion. The exercise had lasted only 45 minutes, much shorter than their usual training sessions. That was weird, Lisa said, removing her helmet. The AI seemed almost too realistic. Danny powered down his plasma cannon. Yeah, and what was with all those surrender signals? Usually the enemy fights until we destroy every last ship. Ryan closed his computer interfaces. I have never seen communication patterns like that before. It was like they were actually scared. Amy packed her medical supplies. At least nobody got hurt. I was expecting much worse casualties based on the enemy fleet size. Jake activated his comm unit. Control, this is Squad Leader Morrison. Exercise complete. Requesting debrief. Commander. Davis's voice came through the speakers, but it sounded strange. Tense. All cadets report to Briefing Room 7 immediately. Full dress uniform. The 5 cadets exchanged glances. Full dress uniform was only required for special occasions or serious disciplinary meetings. They quickly changed clothes and made their fare. Way through the station's corridors. Maybe we broke some kind of record, Danny suggested hopefully. Or maybe we screwed up badly, Amy replied. They entered Briefing Room 7 to find Commander Davis waiting with several other officers Jake did not recognize. Some wore uniforms from Earth's diplomatic corps. Others had insignia from the Galactic Federation. Sit down, Commander Davis said. Her voice was calm, but her expression was serious. The cadets took their seats, suddenly feeling very nervous. Jake had never seen his commander look so worried. What I am about to tell you may be difficult to understand, Commander Davis began. Your training exercise today was not just a simulation. Lisa frowned. What do you mean? We were fighting AI opponents, No, you are not. Commander Davis activated a holographic display. Your exercise was broadcast live to military observers from 12 different star systems. Alien civilizations across the galaxy were watching to learn about human military capabilities. The room fell silent. Jake felt his stomach drop. You mean real aliens were watching us? Yes, and based on what they saw, several alien civilizations have begun sending surrender messages to Earth. Commander Davis paused. They think we are preparing to invade them. Danny laughed nervously. That is crazy. We were just doing normal training stuff. One of the diplomatic officers stood up. That is exactly the problem. What you consider normal training appears to be preparation for total war to other species. Amy raised her hand. I do not understand. What did we do wrong? Commander. Davis sighed. You did nothing wrong. You performed exactly as you were trained. The problem is that human military doctrine is very different from what other species consider acceptable. She activated another display showing alien communication intercepts. Let me give you some examples. Danny, when you requested sustained bombardment, the alien observers calculated that your weapon could destroy entire cities. Danny's eyes widened. But that is just standard heavy weapons training. To them, it looked like preparation for genocide, the diplomatic officer explained. Most alien species use weapons designed to disable, not destroy, Commander Davis continued. Amy, your medical preparations convinced them that humans expect to continue fighting even after sustaining casualties that would kill most other species. Amy looked confused, but that is just basic combat medicine. Most alien species retreat immediately when they have injured soldiers, Commander Davis said. The idea of treating severe injuries and continuing to fight is completely foreign. To them, Ryan spoke up. What about the computer stuff I did? You broke through their military security systems in 30 seconds. One of the Federation officers replied. Systems that take their best hackers hours to crack. They think humans have some kind of super advanced cyber warfare technology. Jake shook his head, but Ryan is just good with computers. All humans learn this stuff in school. That is what makes it so frightening to them, Commander Davis explained. You are telling them that every human has capabilities they consider to be elite military skills. Lisa asked the question they were all thinking. So what happens now? Commander Davis pulled up another display showing a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked various star systems. These are the civilizations that have sent surrender messages to Earth in the past 6 hours. Some are evacuating their border worlds. Others are requesting immediate peace negotiations. The cadets stared at the map in shock. There were dozens of red dots scattered across multiple sectors. The Galactic Federation is in crisis, the diplomatic officer said. Half their member species want to surrender to Earth immediately. The other half want to form a military alliance. Against us, Danny raised his hand. But we do not want to fight anybody. We just joined the Federation to make friends. I know, Commander Davis said gently, but they do not know that. From their perspective, they just watched human military. Cadets casually demonstrate tactics that could conquer the galaxy. Jake felt overwhelmed. This is insane. We were just doing training exercises. Training exercises that included pursuing and destroying retreating enemies, the Federation officer pointed out. Most species allow defeated opponents to withdraw safely. Amy remembered something. What about when we ignored their surrender signals? That convinced them that humans do not accept surrender unless specific conditions are met, Commander Davis explained. They think we have some kind of complex surrender protocol that must be followed exactly. Ryan looked pale. And when I sent them surrender terms? Those terms are now being studied by alien military analysts across the galaxy, the diplomatic officer said. They are using them as a template for how to surrender to Earth. Lisa laughed, but it sounded forced. This is like a bad joke. We accidentally scared the entire galaxy. It gets worse, Commander Davis said. Some alien civilizations are so convinced of human military superiority that they are offering to become our vassals. They want to surrender before we even attack. Them. Jake buried his face in his hands. We were just trying to graduate. And you will graduate, Commander Davis assured him, with honors. But first, we need to figure out how to handle this situation. The diplomatic officer stepped forward. The Earth government has called an emergency session. They want to meet with you 5 personally. Danny looked confused. Why us? Because you are the ones who accidentally created the most effective psychological warfare campaign in galactic history, Commander Davis replied, without firing a single shot at a real enemy. Amy shook her head. This is completely crazy. Yes, it is, Commander Davis agreed, but it is also an opportunity. The alien civilizations are convinced that humans are the most powerful military force in the galaxy. We can use that reputation to maintain peace. Jake looked around at his squad mates. So what do we do now? Now, Commander Davis said, you become the most important ambassadors Earth has ever had. Your job is to convince the galaxy that humans are peaceful, while never letting them realize that your training exercise was just normal human military doctrine. The 5 cadets sat in stunned silence, trying to process what they had just learned. Their routine graduation exercise had somehow turned them into the key to galactic peace. One more thing, the diplomatic officer added. Whatever you do, never let them see our actual military training programs. If they think basic cadet exercises are terrifying, they cannot handle what our special forces do. Jake wondered what they had gotten themselves into. 3 days later, Jake stood in the diplomatic meeting room aboard the space station orbiting Earth. Through the large windows, he could see alien ships arriving from across the galaxy. Some were massive diplomatic vessels. Others looked like they were built for emergency evacuation. Remember, Commander Davis said quietly, these aliens are absolutely terrified of us. Be as gentle and peaceful as possible. Lisa adjusted her formal uniform nervously. How gentle can we be? They are scared of our basic training exercises. Danny looked out at the alien fleet. Those ships are huge. Some of them must hold thousands of people. Amy checked her diplomatic briefing notes one more time. It says here that the Vulcan Collective brought their entire ruling council. They never all leave their home planet at the same time. Ryan was monitoring the communication channels. I am picking up transmissions from 47 different species. All of them are requesting immediate peace negotiations. The doors opened, and Ambassador Zikthara of the Vulcan Collective entered the room. Jake had expected something intimidating, but the alien was smaller than a human child. Its skin was pale blue, and it moved very carefully, as if afraid of making sudden movements. Behind the ambassador came representatives from dozens of other species. Some looked like walking trees. Others resembled large insects. A few seemed to be made of living crystal. All of them appeared nervous. Greetings, human warriors, Ambassador Zikthara said in heavily accented English. We come seeking peace with your mighty empire. Jake exchanged glances with his squad. We appreciate you coming, Ambassador, but Earth is not an empire. We are just one planet in the Galactic Federation. The alien representatives whispered among themselves in several different languages. Ambassador Zikthara looked confused. But your military demonstration showed preparation for conquest across multiple star systems. Lisa stepped forward carefully. That was just a training exercise. We were practicing defensive tactics. Defensive tactics? Another alien representative spoke up. This one looked like a tall, thin tree with many branches. Your weapons could destroy entire worlds. Your soldiers prepared for casualties that would end most wars, Danny tried to explain. Those are just standard weapons, and Amy is a medic. She is supposed to help injured people. Amy nodded. Medical training teaches U.S. to treat severe injuries so soldiers can continue their mission. The tree-like alien made a sound that might have been a gasp. You heal your warriors so they can continue fighting? Even after mortal wounds? Well, yeah, Amy said. That is what medics do. Several alien representatives stepped backward. Ambassador. Zikthara's blue skin became even paler. Your species continues fighting even when facing death? Jake realized they were making things worse. Look, maybe we should explain human military philosophy. We believe in protecting our people and our allies. By conquering those who might threaten them? Asked a crystalline being that sparkled when it spoke. No, by being prepared to defend ourselves, Jake replied. Ryan looked up from his communication. Console. Ambassador, I am receiving surrender documents from 12 different civilizations. They want to know what tribute Earth requires. The alien representatives began talking frantically among themselves. Ambassador Zikthara raised one. Thin arm for silence. Human warriors, we must know your intentions. Will you accept our surrender? What are your terms for peace? Jake felt completely lost. We do not want anyone to surrender to us. We just want to be friends. Friends? The tree-like alien sounded confused. But your military capabilities suggest preparation for galactic conquest. Lisa tried a different approach. What if I told you that our training exercise was just basic level instruction? All human military academies teach the same things. The effect was immediate. Several aliens made sounds of distress. One small, furry creature actually fainted. Ambassador Zikthara gripped the edge of the table. You mean there are more humans? Trained to your level of warfare? The ambassador asked weakly. Danny laughed. Oh yeah, millions of them. And the really advanced soldiers are much better than us. We are just cadets. The diplomatic meeting room erupted in panic. Alien representatives began frantically contacting their home worlds. Some species representatives left the room entirely, presumably to arrange immediate evacuations. Commander Davis entered quickly, having watched the meeting from the observation room. Cadets, please stop talking. Amy looked confused. Did we say something wrong? You just told them that millions of humans have military training superior to what they witnessed. Commander Davis explained quietly. And that more advanced soldiers exist. Jake realized their mistake. Oh no, we made it worse. Ambassador Zikthara approached them carefully. Human Commander Davis, we must discuss terms immediately. The Vulcan Collective offers complete surrender. We will relocate our population to whatever worlds you assign us. That is not necessary, Commander Davis said gently. Earth has no interest in conquering anyone. Then what do you want? Asked the crystalline being. Why demonstrate such terrible military power? Commander Davis thought carefully before answering. The demonstration was meant to show our defensive capabilities. Earth wants to contribute to galactic peace. By threatening to destroy anyone who disturbs it, a tree-like alien asked. By being strong enough to protect our friends, Jake said, finally understanding how to frame things. Ambassador Zikthara considered this. So Earth offers protection to peaceful civilizations? Yes, Commander Davis said quickly. Earth will use its military strength to defend Federation members from external threats. The alien representatives began whispering excitedly. This was something they could understand. A powerful protector was better than a conqueror. What about species that are not Federation members? Asked a new voice. A reptilian alien had entered the room. Lisa answered before anyone could stop her. We would protect them too, if they needed help. The reptilian alien's eyes widened. You would defend species that are not even your allies? If they were being attacked unfairly, yes, Jake said. That is what good people do. The alien representatives fell silent. The concept of protecting strangers without expecting anything in return was completely foreign to most of them. Ambassador Zikthara spoke slowly. Let me understand this correctly. Earth possesses military power capable of conquering the galaxy, but chooses to use it only for defense of others? That is right, Commander Davis confirmed. Even species that cannot offer you anything in return? Especially them, Amy said. Strong people should protect weak people. The aliens began talking among themselves again, but the tone was different now. Less panic, more amazement. This is unprecedented, the crystalline being said. A species with ultimate military power that chooses peace. Danny grinned. Welcome to humanity. Ryan looked up from his console again. The surrender offers have stopped. Now I am getting requests for protection agreements. Jake smiled. Maybe they could make this work after all. Ambassador Zikthara stood straighter. The Velkin Collective would be honored to accept Earth's protection. In exchange, we offer our knowledge of deep space navigation. Other aliens began making similar offers. Technology, resources, and information in exchange for human protection. Commander Davis nodded. Earth accepts these partnerships. The diplomatic crisis was turning into something much better. The aliens' fear of human military power was becoming respect for human principles. Jake realized they had accidentally created the perfect situation. The galaxy believed humans were too powerful to defeat, but too honorable to abuse that power. There is just one more thing, Ambassador Zikthara said. Could you please never show us your advanced military training? What we witnessed was terrifying enough. The 5 cadets exchanged looks and tried not to laugh. We promise, Jake said solemnly. 6 months later, Jake stood in the same training facility where everything had started. But now he wore the uniform of a Terran Peace Corps officer instead of a cadet's training gear. Through the observation windows, he could see alien diplomats, watching another group of human cadets practice their exercises. Try to look more peaceful, Lisa whispered to the cadets below. She was now the director of interspecies communication protocols. The new cadets moved through their training routines exactly the same way Jake's squad had 6 months ago. The alien observers still looked terrified, but now they also seemed impressed. They knew they were watching the galaxy's most powerful peacekeepers in action. Danny walked up to join them, wearing his new insignia as a conflict resolution specialist. The Zephyrian Trade Union just requested our help with a border dispute. Apparently, just mentioning that humans might get involved made both sides agree to negotiations. Amy arrived carrying a medical kit designed for multiple alien species. The Crystalline Collective wants me to establish a medical training center on their homeworld. They want to learn human emergency medicine techniques. Ryan appeared with several data tablets. I have peace treaty requests from 47 different systems. All of them want human guarantees of protection. Jake smiled at his old squad mates. They had all graduated with honors and been immediately recruited into the newly formed Terran Peace Corps. Their job was to maintain galactic peace by being exactly what they had always been. Normal humans doing normal human things. Any actual conflicts we need to handle? Jake asked. Lisa checked her communication device. The methane breathers are having a resource dispute with the Silicon Valley Empire. Both sides have agreed to arbitration if we oversee the process. What kind of arbitration do they want? Danny asked. They want us to sit in the room while they negotiate, Amy explained. Apparently, having humans present makes everyone more motivated to reach peaceful agreements. Jake laughed. So we are professional intimidation? Peaceful intimidation, Ryan corrected. There is a difference. Commander Davis approached their group. She now served as the director of the Terran Peace Corps and looked much more relaxed than she had during the diplomatic crisis. "How are our newest ambassadors doing?" "Pretty well," Jake replied. "It turns out that most conflicts can be resolved just by asking both sides if they really want humans to get involved." "The answer is always no," Lisa added. "So they find ways to solve their own problems." Commander Davis nodded. "That is exactly what we hoped would happen. Peace through the threat of overwhelming force, without ever having to use that force." Danny pointed to the training facility below. "How long do you think we can keep this up? Eventually, someone is going to figure out that we are not actually planning to conquer anyone." "Maybe," Commander Davis said. "But by then, the galaxy will be used to peaceful conflict resolution. We are teaching them that war is unnecessary. When you have other options." Amy looked thoughtful. "It is weird, though. We accidentally became peacekeepers by being terrifying." "The best peacekeepers often are terrifying," Commander Davis replied. "The difference is that we choose not to use our power for conquest." Ryan's communication device beeped. "We have a new situation. The Hive Mind Collective is requesting immediate assistance. They say it is an emergency." Jake sighed. "What kind of emergency?" Ryan read the message. "They discovered a new species and want human observers present during first contact. They are afraid of accidentally starting a war." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "They want us to babysit their first contact protocols?" "Apparently, having humans nearby makes everyone more careful about avoiding conflicts," Ryan explained. Danny grinned. "So we have gone from accidentally terrifying the galaxy to being professional peace insurance." "It could be worse," Amy pointed out. "We could actually have to fight someone." Jake activated his communication unit. "This is Peace Corps Officer Morrison. Tell the Hive Mind Collective that we will send a team immediately." "Who should go?" Commander Davis asked. "All of us," Jake decided. "This could be important. If we mess up first contact with a new species, it might cause bigger problems later." The 5 former cadets prepared for another diplomatic mission. They put on their formal Peace Corps uniforms and gathered their equipment. Lisa brought translation devices. Danny packed non-lethal weapons that still looked impressively dangerous. Amy loaded medical supplies for unknown alien biology. Ryan brought communication and analysis equipment. "Remember," Commander Davis said as they prepared to leave, "you are not just representing Earth anymore. You are representing the idea that power should be used responsibly." Jake nodded. "We understand." 2 hours later, they were aboard a Federation transport ship heading toward Hive Mind space. The journey gave them time to review what they knew about the new species the Hive Mind had discovered. "They call themselves the Peaceful Wanderers," Lisa read from her briefing notes. "They seem to be nomadic traders who travel between star systems." "What makes the Hive Mind nervous about them?" Danny asked. Ryan checked his data. "The Peaceful Wanderers have some kind of advanced technology that the Hive Mind does not understand. They are worried about accidentally appearing threatening." Amy laughed. "The Hive Mind is worried about appearing threatening? They have 1 billion connected minds." "Everyone is worried about appearing threatening these days," Jake observed. "No one wants to risk having humans think they are aggressive." When they arrived at the meeting location, they found representatives from both the Hive Mind Collective and the Peaceful Wanderers waiting nervously. The Hive Mind delegates looked like large insects with glowing eyes. The Peaceful Wanderers resembled floating jellyfish with beautiful colored patterns. "Thank you for coming," a Hive Mind spokesperson said. "We wanted human witnesses to ensure this first contact proceeds peacefully." One of the Peaceful Wanderers spoke in a musical voice. "We have heard of human peacekeepers. Your reputation for fair dealing is known across many galaxies. Jake realized something important. Their reputation had spread beyond their own galaxy. Other species in distant star systems were learning about human principles of protection and fair treatment. "We are honored to help," Jake replied formally. The first contact meeting proceeded smoothly. Both species were so concerned about appearing peaceful in front of the humans that they bent over backward to be accommodating and friendly. Within an hour, they had established trade agreements and cultural exchange programs. That was the most polite first contact in Federation history, Lisa observed afterward. It is amazing what people can accomplish when they really want to avoid fighting. Amy added Dot as their ship returned to Earth. Jake looked out at the stars and thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, he had been a cadet worried about passing his final exam. Now he was helping to maintain peace across multiple galaxies. "Do you think we did the right thing?" He asked his squad mates. "What do you mean?" Danny replied. "I mean, we basically tricked the entire galaxy into thinking we are super warriors." "Is that honest?" Ryan considered the question. "We never lied to anyone. We just let them draw their own conclusions from what they saw." Lisa nodded. "And look at the results. Conflicts are being resolved peacefully. Species are cooperating instead of fighting. Trade and cultural exchange are increasing." Amy smiled. "Plus, no one has actually been hurt. We are keeping peace without violence." Jake had to agree. Their accidental deception had created something good. The galaxy was more peaceful now than it had been in centuries. All because everyone believed humans were too powerful and too honorable to abuse that power. "I guess sometimes the best way to keep peace is to be prepared for war," he said finally. "Even if you never actually planned to fight," Danny added. Their ship approached Earth's orbital station, the same facility where their training exercise had accidentally changed galactic history. As they docked, Jake could see new groups of alien diplomats arriving for peace negotiations. "Ready for the next crisis?" Lisa asked. Jake grinned. "Bring it on. After all, we are professional peacekeepers now." The 5 former cadets walked off. Their ship, ready to continue their work of maintaining galactic peace through the simple act of being human.